when this country was established and we were on the wagon trains, when we came over in the boat, do you realize the first building we built?
No.
Church. To thank God that they all made it there in time. So at times, since it was the only meeting place in town, they would hold court there. So I don't know if you've ever walked into somebody else's church, but anytime I've ever walked into anybody's church, I've always bowed to the altar, regardless if it was Presbyterian or Baptist or Lutheran or Catholic. I don't know. I just believe there was proper protocol to stand, bow down on my knee, bow and do the symbol of the cross. I believe that was proper protocol and it was ethical to do that. So when a man on his video is watching this man in a black robe bowing, I said, he's bowing to the altar. Now, you could say all this you could say all this reptilian stuff or Queen of England and reptoids and praying to the devils. No. When you walked into a church, this was the style. You bowed to the altar before you stepped behind the altar. So that they would say, oh, look, the judge bowed to the guy. No, he was bowing to, the altar. It was protocol when you walked into a church, you bowed.
Yeah, and the judges here still do that as well. They bow when they come into the courtroom.
Can you look at it as evil and Illuminati and devil worship and everything? Well, sure, you just go right ahead and believe that. Or do I want to look at it the way they would, like the circuit judges, would go around from church to church to church, and they conduct their public business when it came to court matters, and they go to a local town. And it's like, okay, I'm the judge. Where do you guys hold court in this town? Over there at the church. That's the only building you built so far? Yeah, okay. So he'd walk in, he'd bow to the altar, show everybody respect. Everybody would be sitting in the pews waiting from the start. He'd bow to the altar. And they're like, well, that's nice. The judge bowed to our altar, whether you guys were Mormons or Lutherans or whatever you guys were in that little Midwest town or far west town. He was polite, and he was courteous and respectful, and he bowed. It has nothing to do he was bowing to the people. It has nothing to do he was bowing to the man before the court. It has nothing to do with that. But that's what these people want to go wrapped up in, this Illuminati nonsense that the judge is bowing to some sort of something.
No,
he's just being respectful. Common courtesy.
Now, when we try to file our paperwork again here, should we keep that red box around that, or will that matter whether we have the red box around it or not? They may or may not accept it.
All the red box basically means is that there is nothing to be entered in and nothing to be taken out of this paperwork.
Yeah, it's non-negotiable, basically.
It's non-negotiable.
Here.
Right, exactly. So that's all it's basically saying.
Okay, good.
That's all it's basically about. And like I said to people, it's very simple. It's when Hannibal was coming over the Alps, the Romans knew how to keep the elephants at bay was to just slaughter some horses or some cattle and lay blood across the elephant's trail, the path. Because the elephant's tusks would pick up the smell of blood, and the elephants would get scared, and they refused to cross that bloodline.
Right.
So, like I said, if you look at any of the popes, they're called papal bulls, P-A-P-A-L-B-U-L-L. You see all his papal bulls have that red box around it. So it's probably just an ancient Roman thing that the people back then really, loved. So it's just a tradition and a custom that kept going for years and years and years. So there you go. That's the significance about the red line, as far as I believe. If the Catholic Church did it for some reason, that's why I believe they did it.
It makes sense. It kind of follows the flow of things, because it really does kind of represent that whole idea. This is non-negotiable. This is my wish, my order, my demand, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right, and there's a Bible verse that says, add no word, take no word. So if you just Google add no word, take no word Bible quote, that's basically what it's saying. It's like things were written in stone back there. You watch the old Ten Commandments movie with Yul Brynner. He's like, let it be written, let it be done. And they etched his word in stone. You can't take a word, you can't take a word, you can't add a word, you can't remove the word. Once you've uttered it, it's your word for all time. If you try to alter that word, you're going to shatter the stone. You can't do it. So when you make a claim, you got to make it like one sentence long, so that way you always remember your word, because your words are so simple. You only said 10 words. You can't possibly mess up in front of the jury, because you're just going to say those 10 words and nothing else. And you're not going to change, and you're not going to rearrange it, and you say, this is my word, and this is what I say is true. This is what I claim happened. Now, would you like me to expand on my word? Sure. I'll define it, and I'll give you an explanation to it, but this is my true words. These are my words, and this is what I say is true. And you let the court know without a shadow of a doubt. I'm just giving an explanation or a clarification of my words. I am not altering, changing, or tampering with my claim or my words. But will I explain it in a little more detail in this court? Yeah, sure. If the jury wishes to hear an explanation or a little more detail, sure, I'll expand on it. But if not, I believe my claim stands as it is. And you can just leave it at that.
Good. So I guess we should just file our claim into the Queen's Bench the way that they want, and then that way they'll move forward with that case. And should we continue with their, filing the habeas as an applicant into their case, or still try to make it separate? Because I think that's where they're having a hard time as well. They're like, we can't really separate it because this is you already have a court file number pertaining to this.
Sure. There's nothing wrong that somebody already had. What happened if somebody found a gold mine and there was 300 people claiming that they already found that? So everybody would initiate their own case, their own claim. That's all.
Okay.
No rocket science there.